What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Cafe de Paris. Also representing my channel specifically for women, Mocha's Ladies Lounge. I appreciate y'all joining back. I felt that I needed to do a part two since my audio was not that clear on the first one, and I really wanted to redo that. I thought I owed it to all of you who support my channel and who respect my craft. I don't like sending y'all sending y'all content that's not of good quality. And I thought I had a lot of essential information in that upload. The problem was the audio was not on point, so I know it was a struggle listening to that. But anyway, we're doing our part two, right? Diddy's downfall from Grace part two. So it's a couple of things I want to do some clarity on, and there's also been some updates regarding Diddy's situation. So just to kind of put y'all up on game, the most recent is he did try to go back and appeal it for a second time. The first time he requested, he had asked if the judge would consider giving him a bond, and of course the first judge was like, absolutely not. We're not comfortable with letting you out. You're too much of a risk. You may flee from out of this country. We just don't see it being a good fit. Okay, we cannot take that chance. So he got denied. Diddy, being the man of never being denied, never being told no, always having things his way, sends an additional request to a second judge and says, because I think the first judge was an arraignment judge, and I guess this judge was another arraignment judge, or however the case is, right? But it's not the same judge, it's the second judge, okay? So, this judge here may be the one that's going to actually be over the jury. The first one may have been an arraignment judge. Basically, that's what I'm saying. So, he approached the second judge saying, well, since I cannot get bond that would give me leverage of having 100% freedom until I go to jury, until I go to trial, can I please get bond with conditions? Now, the bond with conditions already was a no-go, and he thought the judge was slow. Basically, I'll have security, I'll have paid security at my house, making sure I can't leave. I'll also not contact any of my witnesses. Y'all can take my cell phones, as if he can't get another cell phone, like a judge is supposed to believe that. So he tried to convince the judge that he'll be willing to release his phones. He'll be willing to make sure that any visitors that come to his mansion, that his security logs them in, logs them out. That way they can report daily who's been visiting him. And guess what? The judge shut it down again. Nope. No conditions. And if you think about it, it only makes sense because you have to realize Diddy, once upon a time, was a very powerful man. Diddy has already been somewhat violating the conditions before they even arrested him, which he got arrested on the 17th. And he's already been contacting witnesses. He's already, been trying to pay people for bribery to recant their story. And you have to understand, Diddy is a man that's used to having power and money. Those have always been his resources, power and money. And now he's in a position now in which those sources he's not able to use. It's not of benefit to him. It's not of use to him at this point. It's no good. No one's not trusting taking his money. No one's not trusting putting in work because the heat is too hot right now. And everybody that was down with Diddy once upon a time, everybody is fleeing the scene like roaches. Like roaches, you turn the lights on, all the roaches scatter because now, people being exposed. So, people in his camp, people who he's used to using as puppets, as slaves. He no longer has access to these people now. So he's basically 100% on his own. And again, everything he has tried at this point has not been successful. He tried to bribe the judge, the first judge, with $50,000. She wasn't going for it. And then I heard he tried to bribe again, up the price to $75,000. So you have to realize, Diddy is using these things because that's all he's ever known to do. He's never really had to use any real compassion, any real empathy or sympathy. He's never had to really use the human side of himself, because he has always used his power and he have always used his money to get what he wants. So this is where we at right now. Diddy has been denied for a second time, so he is not getting out. Period. At least not up until trial. Okay. Diddy did not want to have to serve time in that jail until jury. Because you have to realize, the reason why people rather do bond than to sit weeks and weeks at a time until jury, because see, this is the kind of conditions you're going to have to stay. You're going to have to live in. This is where Diddy is going to be remaining. And this is the actual photo of the Metropolitan DC Detention Center jail where he is currently residing in New York. And they said this jail is in one of the most poorest conditions. And let's face it, most jails are. These wardens, the state, they don't take the money and invest in these jails to where these inmates can have a better, more comfortable, at least healthy, I don't want to say comfortable, because prison is prison, right? Jail is jail, right? But at least more fit, suitable conditions. Like I said, all of y'all should already know who've been following me for a minute. I did corrections for 3 years. And when I tell you, these jails do not give a damn, they do not give a rat's ass the type of conditions they have these inmates living in. The last jail I worked at, there was continuous ceiling leaks. There was rodents always in the ceilings. The temperatures there would sometimes really be excessively hot, or it'd be excessively cold as far as climate temperature rise. The plumbing is terrible, the water supply is terrible. I can't name how many times where only drips of water will come out the faucet because the maintenance or whoever's over the jail, whoever keeps up with the plumbing and the maintenance duties and all of that, they will be lazy at keeping up with these things and maintaining them. Things y'all take for granted. You woke up this morning and you went to your bathroom and you turn on your faucet. Your faucet has a adequate amount of water that comes out. But when you're in prison, let me debunk prison, because he's not in prison right now. Prison and jail is not the same thing. When you're in jail, okay, because he's in jail right now, he has not been sentenced. These are the type of conditions you have to live in. Things that you take for granted. And this is where he is. And this is what Diddy was trying to avoid. Diddy did not want to go to jail until trial, because honestly, this man has so many charges up his ass to where this is not one of them cases to where they can make a decision within a year. This man gonna sit for a couple of years. I'm gonna just let y'all know that now. Is way too many witnesses. Is way too many others that's gonna be indicted besides him. There's more additional charges that we don't know about yet that's going to be added. And in cases like this, from personal experience, they take their time getting to inmates that have this that has an excessive amount of charges like this. There's just way too much for them to have a clean cut decision. It's way too much that has to be uncovered. This case has to be dealt with like a fine tooth comb. They gonna have to comb through so much bull crap to where there's just no way he's gonna get sentenced right away. This man may be sitting for 2-3 years, even longer, before they make a decision. The only thing they will probably will do is have grace, and however long he sits there, they're going to put it towards his sentencing. Okay, so if he sits there 3, 4, 5 years, it's not going to be for nothing. It's going to count towards, whatever they sentence him. So if he sits 5 years and they decide to give him 20, which I feel like they're going to give him more, he'll serve 15 when he's actually transferred to the prison. Okay, so this is what he wakes up to every morning. And Diddy is sitting in this confined position right now, and you could only imagine mentally what he's going through. And when you're sitting in this cell, those four walls tend to get smaller and smaller every day. They close in on you every day. It's a very, very unpleasant situation. It's a culture shock. And if you think you can handle it, like I said in my part 1, go to your bathroom, go to your closet, and sit in there for a whole week. Only come out when you have to use the bathroom. Don't use your phone. Don't go to your refrigerator. None of that. Have somebody prep your food, your tray, and bring it to your closet. And you don't get to choose what you want. Okay? You only eat a certain amount. You only are entitled to 3 meals a day other than your commissary. So Diddy is sitting in here angry. He's furious. And I'm going to let you know, he's not furious with the things that he has done to other people. He's not furious about how he has abused and misused his victims. He's not angry about, all of the things that he has done that has caused him to be landed in this predicament in the first place. Let me tell you what he's angry about. He's angry about the people who turned on him. He's angry about the victims who stood up for themselves. He's angry about the fact that his money, people he tried to bribe, nobody is, giving in to his demands. He has not taken no accountability for this, because if he did, he would not be trying to get out of the situation by getting bond. When a person knows they have to take accountability for their actions, they will accept whatever cards are dealt to them. They're not going to try to book the system. They're not going to try to get around or avoid the consequences to their actions. And again, you have to realize this has a lot to do with Diddy is used to having yes men. He's used to having soldiers. But I can't even say soldiers, because soldiers will stand up for what they believe in. He's used to having slaves. Diddy had a lot of, not employees, I'm going to say this, not employees, not workers, not an entourage. He had a lot of slaves that he held in captivity. Only difference in this instant was slaves did get some type of monetary gain. His slaves did get some type of monetary gain. Okay, his security guards, his maids, whoever, and granted the fact a lot of people are trying to wonder why all of these people are coming out now. Why everybody has so much to say now. Why nobody came forward when Diddy was doing all of these things. Why is everybody speaking now? Why everybody's come out the woodworks? Well, you have to realize now that Diddy is incarcerated, the threat is gone. The threat is gone. Now everyone feels safe. And let's not mention people are trying to get a money grab too. But you have to realize Diddy had people in slavery that also had the same mindset as him. They was greedy. They was about $1 too, which is why they dealt with Diddy's shenanigans and why they became close to him, because they had greed as their motive too. And now that the greed king, the king of greed is incarcerated, they want theirs too. In many instances, you attract your own kind. So that's why everybody's coming with all these lawsuits. The only one, I give a pass to as far as a lawsuit is Cassie, because Cassie was abused and she had proof of her abuse. So it was more than just a money grab in her situation. And let's say if it was a money grab, just based off of that footage that went viral, nobody even cares at this point. Okay? It's warranted to her. She deserves to cash in off the devil. Okay? Diddy the Devil himself. Diddy the Devil the Diddler. Alright? So, this is why everybody's coming forth now, because the threat is gone. Okay? And you have to realize Diddy had a lot of people on his payroll. And once you get used to living a certain lifestyle, you don't want to go back to spam sandwiches. You don't want to go back to poking beans and rice with hot dogs, right? So, a lot of people seen, witnessed, observed, and even participated in the Diddy demonic deeds, because they too was benefiting in some form or another. Let's just keep it 100. Everybody ain't a victim. But that's besides the point. The courts don't care about whether if these people participated voluntarily in these freak-offs or not. They're looking at the fact Diddy is this black multi-billionaire man. We're going to have to take him down because it's just, he's too much of a threat at this point. And black men by nature are already a threat, right? Which is unfortunate. This is why the majority of black men get unalived by police, and before they could even like really defend themselves, because it's already this stereotype that black men are a threat to somebody's safety and well-being. And we know this is not always the case, but that is a stereotype that black men have been cursed with, just like black women are cursed with the stereotype. You loud, you obnoxious, and you're always angry. So we all are given some type of labels, unfortunately, that our color and our gender has basically tarnished us with, right? So Diddy is already perceived as a threat. So even though there may have been people who knowingly agreed to participate in these festivities, the courts and the system is not going to look at that. They're looking at the color of his skin, and they're looking at all of these charges, right? And let's face it, when it comes to sex trafficking, that is not nothing to be played with. That's a very, very serious, heinous offense, right? But let me get back into the situation of which I was talking about. While these people coming forward, because the threat is gone, he's incarcerated now. They don't have to worry about Diddy, sending his goons. Diddy's not in a position to retaliate right now. And if you think about it, a lot of y'all are in positions in which you see things going on within a specific situation, but if you were to address it or call it out, it's going to be a problem. A lot of y'all probably work on jobs, okay? I know when I was working as a correctional officer, I seen a lot of shady things take place in that jail with other officers. But because I did not want to lose my job, I did not want to become targeted, I allowed a lot of stuff to slide. Things I knew that was dead wrong. I'm like, you know what? That officer shouldn't be doing that. That officer should not be, retaliating against that inmate. A lot of stuff I saw, but I knew the moment I said anything, it was going to bring me problems. And when I did say things, it did bring me problems. When I started having issues with certain officers abusing their authority over me, and I reported it, they began to target me more than the actual officers who I reported was doing the undercover, conniving, malicious things they were doing to me. Overbooking my schedule, overbooking my work schedule, out of retaliation because I reported what you did to me personally. Not what you did to other inmates, not what you did to other people. I'm reporting what you're doing to me. So you're doing malicious stuff, like you're having me to come in and do 12s instead of doing 8 hours, but you're letting everybody else do 8 hours. You're denying me to not take certain days off, but you're letting everybody else. All of these things simply why? Because I reported you. And this is the reason why, just an example, why a lot of people saw things out of pocket with Diddy, but nobody wanted that smoke. And this is the thing. The few people who did report Diddy, who did get lawyers, who did, try to get law involved, no lawyers would take any cases pertaining to people coming for Diddy. No law enforcement officers in New York wanted to investigate or look into any situations that was reported involving Diddy. Diddy had the whole city on lock. Nobody wanted that smoke because they know they would get canceled, right? So same thing. If you are a nurse on your job and you see the doctor is illegally overcharging patients, insurance, doing a lot of conniving, you know what I mean, unlawful, unethical things, you know it ain't right. But at the end of the day, you have a family you got to feed. You got utilities that have to be paid. You got a car note. So all this big talk about everybody should have said something back then, nobody was going to say anything. The man was a threat. A lot of y'all are working for people right now. And you ain't going to say nothing about that with that CEO, that supervisor, that manager, because you don't want that smoke. The moment you say something, you become a target. And this is why so many people kept their mouths shut for so long. But it was only a matter of time. People been calling out. Saloon, the psychic lady, she been calling out. And I don't do psychics, I don't do witchcraft, I don't do none of that stuff. But if somebody prophesizes something and it comes true, I have to give respect to that. It is what it is, right? Also, Cat Williams, you got to tell Diddy no. This been going on for a long time. Just there was no way possible. This man had a strong army. He had a lot of handlers. He had goons. This man had way too much power. And in order for people to feel safe, you have to get rid of the tyrant. Diddy was the Goliath in the industry. He was that demonic giant in the industry. He had a lot of pull. He had a lot of authority. He had sabotaged people's careers. He had sabotaged people's characters and reputation. Anybody who has never complied with Diddy's demonic deeds, they would get castrated. They would get thrown to the wolves, okay? So let's go a little into it, right? Want to look at the timeline on some of the events, on how this all came about. Because, it's been a lot that has transpired. So we got to go down memory lane, right? So, of course, he's been arrested and indicted by federal authorities in New York, okay? He's basically accused of operating an empire of sexual crimes going back since 2008. So all of this is alleged. All suspects are proven innocent. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty, even down to Diddy, because he has not been sentenced as of yet. All of this is still pending investigation. But anyway, anything I say in this content is alleged and based off of my own opinion for educational and entertainment purposes only. Alright? So, November 16, 2023, Cassie says in a lawsuit, Combs subjected her to years of abuse. Lawsuit filed in federal court saying Combs was prone to uncontrollable rage and subjected her to savage beatings. And we saw that when the videotape footage had basically came out. And that's really what got the ball rolling. He paid that settlement so fast. That opened a can of worms. That's what started it. Well, actually, before that started, him pissing off Ciroc. I think is it Diable or something. I'm gonna find it in a few minutes. That's what actually ignited it, and it just kept going from there. But first when he tried to challenge a powerful non-colored company, that's kind of when things went left. Now that's November 16th. That was when the video went viral. November 17th, that's the very next day, the lawsuit was settled. Okay, and basically Combs said, we have decided to resolve this matter amicably, and he wished her the best. And the reason he gave it out money so fast because he knew what he did, and we ended up finding out ultimately. Okay, so everybody initially at first thought that Cassie, it was just a money grab. Okay, but they found out when that footage came out, okay, that this man is really a monster. He's really an abuser, because remember, he lied and said the truth would tell itself. He posted it on Instagram. He said the truth the truth will be shown in time, and that's absolutely what happened. His truth ended up being exposed. Okay, so November 23rd, 2 other women came forth with allegations of sexual abuse as well. So attorneys, of course, they said those allegations was false. December 6th, another individual came forth saying that she was raped. Also, that was another lawsuit that took place. I'm not going to read each and everything. February 26th, music producer files a lawsuit alleging Combs sexually assaulted him and forced him. Yeah, I think the guy is it Lil Don or something? Lil Rod, okay. He also came forth about the list of illegal activities dealing with drugs and sex that he witnessed, right? So that was February. March, Homeland Security investigates and served search warrants in the early morning raids. They raided his home, right? Raided both of his homes, all 3 of his homes the same day. I think he had a house in New York, one in LA, and another one somewhere else. But they raided all 3 at the same time, right? March 26th, they tried to claim that the feds used military level force. You know, they felt like it was too excessive, but that didn't matter. That got debunked. April 26th, Combs and his team filed a motion to dismiss several elements of Dickerson's lawsuit. Okay, so of course it was another lawsuit that came forth. May 10th. Okay, so May 10th was when the tape came out. All right. So it came later after Cassie initially filed that lawsuit. Okay, so it shows him, basically dragging Cassie through the hotel in the hallway. So that's pretty much when things really went downhill from there. When everybody saw this footage, there was nothing he could say at this point. People lost all trust, all respect. His reputation was tainted right then and there. Because of course he lied. And when everybody asked him and mentioned it to him and brought it up when he decided and agreed to pay Cassie, I don't appreciate anybody slandering my name. I think that is this false narrative that's being painted about me, only for this damn video footage to come out. And it went downhill from there. Okay, so video showed Combs attacking Ventura in Hotel Hall 2016. Of course, he tried to pay $50,000 because again, Diddy is used to using power and money to take the video, to hide the video, and the video still got leaked to this day. Nobody really knows how that happened, but it got leaked. It just goes to show, Diddy's now seeing, I'm sure more so than anything in those 4 walls. He didn't have the power and the money like he thought he did that was going to cover his lies for the rest of his lifetime. He ended up getting exposed, and that's when he lost all his brands. That's when he pretty much lost a lot of sponsors and businesses, his clothing apparel, all of he had to drop down as CEO of the television network Volt. It just was one loss after another. He was taking one L after another. Then March 19th, after he already lied and said people are just trying to sabotage his character and damage his name. Then the video come out. Now he wants to give an apology, which at this point, it fell on deaf ears because you wasn't even honest from the beginning. He basically gives this soap opera, scripted reality TV apology, how he takes full responsibility for his actions in the video. He was, excuse me, he was disgusted then when he did it. And we all know he was not disgusted. He was disgusted that he got caught, basically. Okay. Furthermore, going to August 26, 2024, Cole Masters, a federal judge, thought the February lawsuit from the music producer, because lawyers say the suit was overrun with tall tales, legally meaningless allegations, whose intent is to only generate media hype and exploit it to extract a settlement. September 11th, going to the more current events, that's when Diddy is sued by singer Dawn Richard. In the case describing years of psychological and physical abuse, she was in the group Danity Kane. She was on Making a Band. Diddy's representatives accused Richard of making an attempt to rewrite history by manufacturing a series of false claims. So basically, another lawsuit in which the plaintiff is being made out to be a liar. And so far, everybody that Diddy has tried to make out to be a liar, everyone who he has implied is giving false allegations, have proven themselves. But nevertheless, go on. September 16th, Combs is arrested on Monday night at the Manhattan Hotel after a grand jury indictment. Combs' attorney says Combs planned to make arrangements to turn himself in, but he was arrested first. So this is what really caught him off guard, y'all. He was not prepared to have to go on a date early. So you could only imagine mentally how this has really, impacted him. Nevertheless, September 17th, indictment against Combs is unsealed. Describes him as the head of the criminal enterprise that engaged or attempted to engage in sexual trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, drug offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. So the reason it's sealed, y'all, because if they were to include the names on those who are in conspiracy, in adjunction to these allegations, it's going to open the floodgates. We are going to see a lot of celebrity names, pastors, singers, rappers, executives. It's gonna open a can of worms. That's why they had to keep it sealed. It says he engaged in a persistent and persuasive pattern of abuse towards women and others, including physical violence, in order to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. So y'all, he basically got denied bond again. Again, he tried to bribe the judge the first time. Then he tried to do add his own stipulations, and like I said earlier, they wasn't going for that, right? So I don't need to repeat that point. I already told you about that. So what is going on with Diddy behind the bars? Okay. So FYI, if you did not know, this is where Diddy the Devil is currently being held and actually is residing incarcerated with what's the name of this prison? I mean, not prison, jail. This is the Metropolitan Detention Center. Okay, this is the current jail in which Diddy is currently residing, right? So what's going on is basically is being told that Diddy has to watch his back because according to the warden at the facility he's in is stating that there's a lot of inmates who really want to get a hold of him, and anybody who has any type of familiarity with the jail system understand that it's a badge of honor when it's a major strike, and this is just that jail/prison mentality. So it's not going to make sense to any of us on the outside or who do not understand how jail politics work, right? So anytime you have a big star, anytime you have somebody of high prestige and status that enters into the facility, it is a badge of honor to get a hold of that individual and actually bring harm to them. Inmates want to be known for something big. They're big on status and credibility, because that's what you have to live off and survive off of, being known as, you know, the inmate that basically got a hold of Diddy. So they're definitely keeping a tight eye on Diddy. Now, I will say this. I don't think there's a chance that any of the inmates in that jail are going to be able to get in touch with Diddy. And the reason I say that is because, for one, the jail does not want to risk a liability. As an officer, we were trained, you always protect inmates at all costs. Now, does this always happen? Absolutely not. Do officers do their job to protect inmates? Absolutely not. Officers can't catch everything. They can't be everywhere. But because of Diddy's status, they're most likely, that jail is going to do everything within their power to make sure that nothing happens to him. Now, Epstein was not so lucky. But because of the weight of the world, unless Diddy decides to unalive himself, they are going to want to keep him alive, because they're going to want to nail him to the cross like they did R. Kelly. They want to make sure he gets what's due to him. Epstein, it could have probably been one of those things where somebody had mercy and wanted to take him out of his misery. You know what I mean? He probably was the shot caller of that. You know, probably got somebody from the inside. Hey, I mean, it has happened where you have people who will send other people to do their dirty work and unalive them because they don't have the courage to unalive them. You know, I've seen a movie, one of those, it was based on a true story where a man knew he was going to do a life sentence in prison. So what he did was to set it up so his family would be able to get money in off his insurance and all of that. What he did was he paid a hitman to knock him off. Told him what time he was going to be home. Told him, you know, what house which room in the house he was going to be in, because he didn't want his wife and he didn't want his children hurt. And he knew he was going to go to prison for life. So he paid somebody to off him. And that person did it. And he told him, hey, when you do it, don't do it at a specific time. Don't tell me what time you're going to do it. Just come and do it. You know, don't anticipate me, which to me is crazy work, to pay somebody to off you so you don't have to spend life in prison, and your family could collect off your insurance money. Well, unfortunately, it didn't work out that way because the insurance, I forgot what happened, but somehow, somewhere they found out how, you know, he was unalived. And because it was not a death that he did not cause, his family still did not get that insurance money. They did not honor that. So he did that for nothing, basically. Because he ended up losing his life. And his family still was not able to collect that insurance. So I don't think he thought that all the way through. And from the last I was told, insurance companies, they don't pay on suicide. Okay. So, FYI, right? So, but this is where he's at. You know, anybody knows that's what inmates want to do. They want to get to the big fish, all right? They want to get rep. They want to get a rep and they want to get stripes. So, as we have it, it's going to be a little difficult for them to do that because Diddy is in protection. He's in isolation, which to me is way more hard than being in general population. Because when you're in isolation, you're in this room by yourself. You're in the cell by yourself 24 hours. Now, we're going to give a breakdown as to what Diddy's daily routine is going to be like in the jail. For those who've never experienced jail. Me personally, like I said, I was a correction officer. I used to work there. So I pretty much know the program. So I have enough experience in which I can pretty much commentate on this. So this is what's going to happen, y'all. He got denied twice, you know, for bond. So he's going to have to get used to making this place his home, okay? So, again, this is the jail. This is where Diddy lives, y'all. This is his new mansion, okay? So, only difference is, unlike his mansion, where he has several rooms where he could go to, he's going to be restricted to being in one cell, which is probably not even the size of his closet. Okay, so can you imagine being in this situation, right? And the walls are caving in on you. Because, trust and believe, when you are in this cell every single day, those walls tend to get smaller and smaller. This man is used to luxury. He's used to space. I thought I had blocked them. Let me see. Mute this, because I don't need these notifications. Yeah, so anyway, it's a mental thing. You got to really mentally be strong, because this man is used to luxury. He's used to waking up in his king size bed. He's used to walking into his huge walk-in closet with all his suits and all of his sneakers and hats and jewelry. To have to give all of that up, you know, he's basically going to be treated like the average inmate, except he's going to get more protection than the average inmate, and not because they like him or favor him, but because he is a celebrity and he's a star. Now, the reason why Diddy was fighting so hard not to have to be in jail until the jury trial, because for one, they push back dates a lot. Okay, when it comes to the judicial system, I've witnessed inmates over and over constantly having to deal with their court dates being canceled. And the reason because of that is because sometimes the cases get so overloaded, in which they don't always have time to get to each and every offender to try their case. I've seen guys told on the day of court that morning, you're not going to go to court today. This is after they done set months and years and anxiously been patient, waiting, thinking they're going to see the judge and get that bail bond and get that release date, only to be told we're going to have to cancel it for a couple of months. This is very frustrating. Anybody who's been in a situation, who's been incarcerated before, can tell you nothing is more frustrating than to get a court date and they cancel out on you every time it gets near. This happens a lot, and guess what? No one absolutely has any control over it. So, Diddy's in jail, and the thing about it is, there's nothing else there to comfort him. You can't smoke weed in jail. You can't pop pills in jail. You can't have access to alcohol or anything. There's nothing to soothe your mind, and that is really what makes people go crazy when they in those walls, because you have to deal with your reality, and that's why the penal institution system, they intentionally created jail to be a small, confined, isolated place, because it wants you to mentally deal with your actions. Okay? You're alone with your thoughts. All you have is memories, thoughts that replay over and over in your mind. Not only that, you're worrying about everything on the outside. In Diddy's case, he's worrying about his children. He's worrying about his houses. He's worrying about his mother. Things you don't think about every single day, now it means everything to you. All that time you didn't give your children, now you're thinking about them. All that time you didn't give your parents, your mother, your father, you're thinking about them. All that time you had to complete all kind of projects, everything starts to come to you because there's no distractions. Now, another thing I wanted to show y'all was when his sons, speaking of his sons, when they went to court and he got denied that second time, just to look at the expression on their face, y'all. That's Quincy Albie Shore's son. He's just there to support his siblings mostly. That's Christian. That's King. I don't see any of the daughters, and righteously so. You know, females can't handle a whole lot. You know, they can't. It would have been too much for them emotionally. So understandably, that his daughters was.
How you doing, guys? You all right?
So basically, y'all, you can tell that they are lost. They look defeated. And all jokes aside, Diddy is their dad. Okay, that's their father. We know him as Diddy the Devil, Diddy the Snake, the Diddler. We don't know him in the fatherly sense. This is his children. And unfortunately, when your parent is in this kind of situation, you got to realize too, they don't have their mom anymore. So at least not the ones he had from Kim, right? But you know, it's a harsh reality check that they have to adjust to this new journey, and it's a lot. The only thing I'm grateful for them is that they are adults versus being children. So that's the only, if I can think of something positive, at least they were grown. They are grown. They are adults. Not to say that they still don't have compassion and feelings for what their dad is going through, but it would have been worse if they were children, right? So this is what's going on, y'all. This is when he was denied a second time from the judge. And I know they're feeling defeated because you got to look at it this way. They're used to their dad always being able to wiggle out of things. And this time it's just not going down like that. So they're feeling defeated. They don't have their parents. Now I know this one here, his mother Issa, he has his own mom, and other than that, you know, they still share the same common burden, the same common pain, which is their dad being incarcerated. So it's a sad situation, y'all, but we gonna get back to talking about Diddy's life in jail, okay? So basically, this is the new lifestyle, right? Diddy is going to be entitled to just 1 hour of rec time per day and 3 showers a week. Here he will be allowed visitation periodically, while his lawyers will always have access to him. And that's the way it goes, y'all. In the jail, you do have access to, you will have visitation, right? Now visitation can vary from the family actually comes to the jail and they can see you person to person, or they have to see you through a glass in which there's no personal contact. You're not able to hug, touch, or whatever, which is usually the safest way, because it eliminates a lot of problems. That keeps the smuggling and any type of illegal transactions, like, you know, drugs, weapons, or whatever. So most jails are steering away from the in-person body-to-body contact, and they're just specifically doing it through that plexiglass window, or because technology has updated itself, they're doing a lot of FaceTiming. I know the last jail I worked at, they do the FaceTiming now, in which the family member can get a link or an app in which they can speak to you from home. So it's pretty cool in a sense, because it eliminates family having to always drive out to where you are. And let's face it, when Diddy goes to prison, he's most likely going to be shipped to a prison that's going to be, I'm sure, states away. Okay, to where they're definitely going to have to book flights and stuff to see their dad. Just not a hop and a skipping away, right? So he's going to be able to have visitation. They got FaceTime. They got all this fancy stuff now. I'm not sure about this particular prison here, but I'll probably do my research in due time. Inmates are allowed to get tablets. I know at the last jail I worked at, all inmates get tablets, and they have to sign in and sign out. That way, the jail is able to keep up with the tablets, and they can make sure that there's nothing illegally being done. It's just another way of the jail being able to keep up and monitor the behavior and the things that the offender, the inmate, is doing on the tablet within that jail. So yes, jail does have tablets. Now they are big and bulky. They have some type of permanent case on them, so they can't just be thrown and shattered and stuff. They like the old-fashioned tablets that first kind of came out, big and bulky, so the inmate can't easily destroy the tablet, because you just have some inmates, they just destructive. Okay, so basically he's going to be able to have visitation. He's going to be able to have rec time. He's out for an hour. What is rec time? Rec time is you can do what you want to do in rec time. You go shoot hoops. You can go make phone calls. You can go take an extra shower if you want to. You can do your commissary request on your kiosk. You can do all of that, but you got 1 hour to make the best of it. Do anything dumb, do anything stupid, they can't take away your rec. You can't get rolled up and lose your rec time. Inmates hate that, because that means you basically going to hold 24 hours with no rec time. In many instances too, inmates have lost rec time because something stupid that happened within that unit. Somebody got caught smuggling contraband. Somebody got caught smoking a cigarette or something like that. So that whole unit, that whole day loses rec time. Meaning everybody gets punished for it unless they can narrow the person who did it. But if they can't, most of the time the whole unit suffers for it. And this sucks being an inmate, because it's the good suffer with the bad type of thing. But most jails try to avoid penalizing everybody. So if they try to narrow it down, and if they can't figure it out, sometimes they'll just count it as an L and nobody, loses anything. But this is what he has to deal with. Now, he's going to receive a 6 a.m. wake-up call, at which time he will need to make his bed, mop the floor, and generally keep his cell clean. This is a normal routine, right? Inmates do have to keep their cell clean, okay? If they don't, they do get written up. It's more than just giving an inmate something to do. It is to eliminate having to have bugs, any severe allergies or sicknesses that can derive from keeping a nasty ass cell. They make them keep it clean so that they're not sleeping in hazardous conditions. The jail where I worked at, most of the guys doing their rec time, they want to keep their cells clean, and they know they only got 1 hour, so they make it their business to borrow the sprays or the chemicals. And as an officer, when they want to use chemicals to clean their room or spray down their walls or whatever, we would have to hand them the bottle and actually stand there and watch them spray it. Okay, because if you didn't, inmates will put it in the cup and throw it on you as an officer when you're doing security checks. It's just too much of a liability, you feel me? So, but we do have to give them supplies to clean their cell. Or some jails are different. Some jails have it to where only a trustee, which they don't call them trustees anymore because they can't be trusted, an inmate worker is the only one that can go in a cell with the supplies and clean it, which is a better method if you ask me. It eliminates chemicals from being passed around. It eliminates officers having to stand there and supervise what they're doing with the chemicals, because that gives the inmates room that aren't being supervised to do what they want to do, because you're watching somebody having to clean, right? So yes, he's going to be required to keep his room, to keep his cell clean. Okay. For officers noticing the toilet is being piled up with doo-doo. You ain't flushing a toilet. You got boo-boo smeared on the walls. You know, you got a bunch of debris in your cell. They're going to have to call you out on it and make you get it together. This is your new home. You got to keep it maintenance. You got to keep it clean. You keeping your room nasty could create rodents from entering your room through the ceilings because you got smells, you got odors that's attracting them there. Jail is already not in the best of conditions, but you worsen the problem when you got a bunch of candy wrappers and you're not putting them in the trash. You got a lot of old drawers that with odors and boxers that you're not sending to the laundry to get washed so your cell can stay clean. You put everybody at jeopardy. You put everybody at risk because you're sharing the unit with other inmates who are also in cells. So once you start getting rodents, they're going to get rodents too. Okay? So going back to, they're also told that inmates are entitled, which is true, to 3 meals a day, add up to 1,800 calories a day. All of which will be prepared early and will wait on a warming box for them to be given to him since he's not a general population. So, of course, we know prison food is not the best. However, they do have to feed you. And it's unfortunate that I think even animals are entitled to at least a decent meal. I don't think that a dog should be given anything just because they're a dog. Some of these prisons have gotten better, but for the most part, their food is not food, and it's definitely not going to be food for Diddy because Diddy is used to lobsters, steak, shrimp. He's used to eating the best. This is definitely going to be a downgrade for him because he's not used to struggling. People such as myself who are used to struggling, we learn to make do. You know, we learn how to, butter up our grits that don't have no salt in it. You know, you learn how to take that seasoning from off your potato chips and put it on your grits. You learn how to improvise as an inmate because simple things to take for granted they don't give you. They don't give you salt with grits. They don't give you butter with grits. They don't give you pepper. You know, they give you that one sausage patty. You got to try to make that one sausage patty stretch. So what you do is you crumble it up in pieces and put it in your grits to kind of fill you up. You know what I mean? You have to learn how to navigate how you eat, how you season your food and everything. And this is going to be difficult for Diddy because this man has not been in poverty for years, right? So that's going to be a big thing, having to adjust to that food. Long as the jail feeds you, they don't care if it's top tier food or not. Diddy has access to a commissary where he can buy smaller goods like candy, coffee, tea, cheese, and also larger items like sweatpants, sneakers, and the radio. So that'll be the good thing for Diddy, is that he does have money on the outside, so he'll be able to get better commissary. Now keep in mind, the commissary list is the same for all inmates. There's not no special commissary list for celebrities in any jail. Okay, there's no top tier commissary based off of how much money you make and who you are. Only difference is he'll be able to probably most likely get a little bit more. Like the average inmate can get like $60 worth of snacks. Diddy may be able to get up to 500. Now, keep in mind, the way jails work, they don't care how rich or how much money you make. You're only allowed to receive a certain amount of commissary per week. Okay? So, just because he's Diddy, that don't mean he's going to be able to use all $500 worth of commissary within that day. He may only be allowed to use like 100 per week. Each jail is different. The reason is like this because they don't want to give an inmate too much commissary all at once, to avoid gambling, which is a big thing in jail. Inmates are always selling or trading commissary. And sometimes when one inmate doesn't hold up their end of the deal and take one inmate commissary and don't pay up on it, it causes fights. It causes a lot of drama. Listen, commissary is like a woman between two men. It causes a lot of messiness. Okay? Like you don't want to share your woman with anybody. You don't want to share your commissary with anybody. It gets really messy. Ninjas don't hold up their end of the deal. So all of this, okay, I'm going to lend you 3 chips and I'm going to lend you some coffee, and you just owe me a phone call and you don't get that phone call. It causes problems, because now you got to prove that you can't let nobody punk you and take advantage of you. So now as an inmate, you're going to have to prove that you're not weak. And you're going to have to put the pause on that inmate, because if the other inmates find out that you let an inmate get over not paying you back for the chips and beef jerkies or whatever and honey buns that you lent, they're going to look at you as weak. They're going to look at you as soft. So they're going to start trying you. They're going to be snatching your commissary, taking your commissary. You got to constantly prove that you are not a pushover in jail. So how will the prices go on the commissary list? Believe it or not, the shit you could buy at the Dollar Tree store, they're going to charge you more in jail, more in commissary. And usually it be the same sizes. You get kid size snacks. You don't get no big old bag of Doritos, okay? You get the small fun size. But you can get as many as you want, right? But this is how they charge it at this detention, okay? This is the commissary list, right? 1 6-pack of water is for $4.50. Decaffeinated coffee for $3.55. Powdered milk for $5.75, okay? Powdered milk is probably be better than whole milk, because a lot of these jails, they don't keep up with the dates on the milk. I know the last jail where I worked at, they never kept up with the dates on the milk. So in many instances, inmates would be getting milk that was expired, that would be sour. Not only that, they don't really keep them well refrigerated. Many times when we would do chow and we would have to serve, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, well, more so talking about breakfast this time, the milk would be warm, So, and sometimes the coffee would be cold instead of hot. Little things we take for granted. His whole life is just going to just transition. It's not going to be nothing like he's used to it being. So powdered milk. Also, y'all, they don't sell condiments like pepper, salt. Well, yes, they do. You would think pepper and salt would automatically come free and sugar would come free. Well, I think sugar, at the last jail I went to, they would give out free sugar packs. But you have to pay for salt, pepper, mustard, ketchup, jelly, peanut butter. You got to pay for that separately off commissary. That's a luxury in jail. Okay? So, like you can go to a restaurant, they're going to load you up with sugar, give you all the packs of honey mustard and everything. No, you imagine McDonald's tell you, you got to pay separate for honey mustard, separate for ketchup, separate for salt and pepper. That's how jail is. Jail separates everything, right? So, this particular jail has the sugar-free honey for $3.70, jalapeno wheels for $3.20, peanut butter, yep, just like I told y'all, they charge you for peanut butter, $3.15, Velveeta cheese blocks for $3.70, chicken stock cubes for $1.80. Okay, now the chicken stock cubes, those would be good, like to put in your grits, like salt in your food, because it adds like that little salty flavor. You get what I'm saying? So that's a good essential other than salt. For tuna and Thai chili sauce for $2.50. Like I said, a lot of this stuff is dollar store material. Turkey log with honey pepper for $2.70. A hot and spicy beef sausage log. Y'all know that's like the beef jerkies. That's what that is. The little beef jerky tubes for $2.55. A spam pouch for $1.50. hot chili with beans for $1.95, or unsalted crackers for $1.95. Okay. Also, too, FYI, if Diddy is, we don't know his medical condition, but if he's diabetic or have high sodium, the jail by law has to give him the right food for his health condition. I don't care who you are. If you're diabetic, they have to give you sugar-free food. If you have high cholesterol, they have to give you low sodium food. Okay. We had inmates with special diets. One inmate, he was not allowed to eat solid foods because he was like elderly and up in his age. So the kitchen had to make his food soft and parade it like it was baby food. So yes, the prison will make sure, jail, I keep saying prison, but I mean jail in this case. Jail is going to make sure they give you the right things for your diet, because they don't need a lawsuit. They don't need you dying because you ate something you wasn't supposed to eat, or whatever the case is, right? Other items include cheese, crackers, curry powder, chocolate covered pretzels, Chips Ahoy cookies, granola bars, cashews, unsalted peanuts, Snickers bars, Hershey bars, sugar-free candy, because again, they got to accommodate the diabetic inmates, macaroni and cheese, and flour tortillas. Listen, Diddy is going to be big as a house. Mark my word, the next time he goes to court, he going to be puffy for real. He's really going to live up to that name, Puff Daddy. Because he's going to look puffy enough to be somebody daddy for real. I promise you, right? But this is more stuff. Now, this is for the top tier. These are the top tier meals in commissary. Meaning everybody cannot afford to get the top tier meals. But Diddy will be able to afford the rib steak meal for $9.95. Bone-in chicken meal for $5.45. Also dark chocolate bar for $2.25. He'll also be able to stock up on clothing items too. Diddy can buy sweatshirts for $16.15, or thermal pants for about $8. He can listen to the radio by purchasing a player for $15.60, or buy New Balance sneakers for $55. Other items include body wash, soap, razor, hair brushes, and other maintenance items. Diddy can also buy rosary beads for $1.50. Now, let me explain a little bit more about commissary, right? Now, believe it or not, some of these items are luxury items, because a lot of these inmates, they don't have family taking care of them from the back, from you know, they don't have support, okay? They don't have family that's looking out for them, put money in the books. So anytime you have an inmate that does not have family that's contributing so he can make phone calls and he get commissary, then what happens is the state, the jail, provides them with the basic necessities. Like he's not going to be able to get the Chips Ahoy and the granola bars and all of that. He will just be restricted to the regular trays. With the trays, they do get a pack of cookies. They do get a snack here and there. Usually what some inmates try to do is they'll try to get cool with other inmates who do get commissary and really don't care for the little preschool snacks that come with the trays. So that way they can collect snacks along the way versus, you know, having to buy it from commissary. So they'll get a pack of the state provided cookies that only has 4 little cookies. So they'll probably get like 5 of them from inmates who don't care for the state certified cookies, okay? Because a lot of the items that the jail provides are like preschool sizes, or like fun sizes. Like, you know, when you take your kids trick-or-treating, they snacks is that size. And we're talking about for grown men, okay? That's why a lot of the inmates, they rather do the commissary, because you get more of an abundant quantity. And believe it or not, it's still not an abundant quantity. Like the Chips Ahoy cookies, the ones commissary gives them, 6 may come in a pack, or 8. But he's not going to be able to get the Chips Ahoy where it's like, you know, a family pack where it's like $30. 30 cookies in a pack. You get what I'm saying? So everything is like snack size, you know, and with the luxury of commissary, you can get as much as you want to, and by the time you order 8, 9, 10 packs of eight pieces of eight pack cookies and all of that, you'll have the same amount you would had you bought a whole pack out the grocery store. You get what I'm saying? So anyway, this is what he's going to be expecting, right? The state only provides like 2 pair of boxers, 2 undershirts, and flip-flops, you know, and 1 pair of sweats, 1 with a sweatshirt top. It basically gives you the minimum, okay, just enough to survive off of. Which after a while it sucks, right? Because if laundry is getting done once a week and you only got like 2 pair of undies, 2 pair of undershirts, and it's time for the inmates to collect, you have to wear the dirty pair for about a week until, you know what I mean, till laundry is collected on Sundays. I know when I had worked with the inmates, we would collect laundry, I think, every Thursday or something like that. Just once a week, right? Because too many inmates. You cannot do it 2-3 times a week, once a week. So it's imperative that you at least have like 3 or more. That way you can rotate and not be stuck wearing the same drawers for a whole week until, you know, laundry is brought back to the unit, and then you can switch out and put on some cleaner, more comfortable items. You get what I'm saying? So, but we know, listen, Diddy's not going to have that problem, right? Period, point blank. He's going to be able to get everything he needs, you know. And they used to let the inmates get radios at my jail where I worked at, but they stopped that, right? And they stopped that because, let me come out of this ad. They stopped that because the inmates was taking the batteries out of the radio, and they was doing something, or like attaching them up to the plug when they would come out, because there was not plugs or sockets in the cell, but there was somehow, some way, like mess with the wires from the headlights in the cell, like the overhead lights that you turn on and turn off, and somehow they would remove the covering from that headlight and take a wire or something and attach the battery to it, and that's how they would smoke. So because there was so much smoking going on in the cells, what ended up happening was we had to stop the radios. And, you know, that pissed off a lot of inmates, because some of the inmates was not doing that. You know, they was using the radios the correct way to listen to their music, because you need something to keep your mind sane. You get what I'm saying? Music has a way of taking you away from stuff, right? So, especially the older inmates, because they don't be doing all that stuff, right? But these younger inmates, they mess it up for everybody, right? So, we had to collect all of the radios, because they was taking the batteries and doing other stuff with it. Then we had to collect all of their batteries, and that was sickening, because they would hide them, and you would have to do what's called a cell extraction, when you go in the cell and basically rip apart everything. When you smelled the room, smelled the cell smoking up, you could smell smoke residue and stuff like that. But this is all that comes with the lifestyle that Diddy is going to have to be accustomed to or adjust himself to as an inmate, okay? Like I said, the one privilege he has is that he's not going to have to share his space with somebody. Having to share a cell, that's where it's always conflict, because you have to worry about another inmate stealing your stuff, stealing your food, trying you in your sleep, and God forbid if you're an older man and you got to share your cell with a 20-year-old knucklehead who thinks he can talk to you disrespectfully all kind of way. You don't get to choose your cellmate, which makes it very unbearable. But in Diddy's instance, he don't have to worry about that. So he's fortunate on that part. But the downfall is he has no one to talk to. Most inmates will tell you they would rather be in general population any day than to be in isolation like Diddy, because your time goes by so much faster when you could play cards with other guys. You could shoot hoops. Y'all can watch TV together. Where he is, he's not going to have that luxury. It's not even going to be a TV where he's at. he's not going to have anybody to play cards with to do rec. Now, when he does to go do rec, right, he's going to be by himself. He's not even going to be able to do rec with other inmates because he's a high-profile celebrity. He has a high-profile case. So his rec is going to consist of him walking around in circles in a small cage outside, or he may have the benefit of being able to walk on the average size basketball court, you know, where the inmates shoot hoops, but he's going to be by himself. They're not going to let him shoot hoops or spend time with nobody to help him get through his time. The most conversation he'll have is if a guard is doing their rounds and passing by and a guard holds a conversation. I know me, I used to hold conversations with the inmates. I actually had like talking to them and made my day go by faster. You know, the ones with common sense. The idiots, I'll be like, hi, bye, and keep it moving. But every once in a while, you know, you talk and you hold conversations. Of course, you can't be so in a holding conversation or where you're getting distracted and not doing your job. But that's as close as to getting any type of conversation. So, y'all, I want to show y'all some other things, right? Because they have really been cutting up on Facebook. They've been throwing a lot of shade, you know what I mean? So I want to share some funny things with y'all. I'm like, you know what? I got to share this with my people because I know a lot of y'all don't do social media and stuff. But I wanted to share some memes. Let me tell you, they have been on a meme roll, okay? It's been Diddy meme marathon, starting with this one. They took this from New Jack City. Check this out, y'all.
Who are you talking about, Mr. Brown? What they?
They. Look at it. Kareem Akbar. That's right, the educated brother from the bank. He's the real head of the CMB, the brains behind the whole thing.
I told you, this thing is bigger than Nino Brown, and I got a list of people. If I'm going down, I'm taking a whole lot of people.
Who are you?
Now peep it right. Look how they made Nino Brown look like Diddy. Look how they made Kareem Akbar, the one that played as Christopher Williams. Look how they made his face look like Jay-Z. Look how they have Cat Williams face as Scotty the detective. Check it out one more time, y'all. Y'all should be able to peep the message behind this, and I'm explaining in a minute, but I had to explain that to y'all in case you didn't peep it. Let me play it one more time.
Are you talking about Mr. Brown? What they?
They. Look at it. Kareem Akbar.
Jay-Z.
That's right, the educated brother
Cat
from the
Williams.
bank. He's the real head of the CMB, the brains behind the whole thing.
I told you, this thing is bigger than Nino Brown, and I got a list of people. If I'm going down, I'm taking a whole lot of people.
In other words, they saying, look, Diddy about to snitch on everybody. Let me tell you something. You can have all the big chops in the world, what you not gonna do, but listen. Sitting in here for just 2 days will make you rat everybody out. Like, I can't take it. Listen, Diddy was trying to stop from even going to jail in the first place. So imagine what he's going through mentally now that he's in there. You know, he knew what he was up against, but now he's actually experiencing it. So people been posting memes and like, you know what I mean, really like throwing shade. Now they did another meme, y'all, right? The internet is undefeated from the movie Life, but Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy, they did another meme, y'all. I'm sorry, I got to show y'all this. I'm sorry, I got to do it. Let me put that back, bro.
And you've been working on. I want to talk about the plan you've been working on.
I ain't working on no plan, Ray.
I know you. And I know when you got something brewing. I know it.
What I got brewing? What I got brewing, Ray? You tell me.
I want to talk about the plan you've been working on.
I ain't working on no plan, Ray.
I know you. And I know when you got something brewing. I know it.
What I got brewing? What I got brewing, Ray? You tell me.
I want.
Now you notice that's R. Kelly. they morphed R. Kelly's face into the character Eddie Murphy. And that's Diddy.
Talk about the plan you've been working on.
I ain't working on no plan, Ray.
I know you.
The internet is undefeated. I got some more things to show y'all, right? But let me play this for y'all. Now, a lot of y'all may or may not know Uncle Luke. He used to be part of the group 2 Live Crew. Rest in peace to Kid Fresh Ice Fresh Kid. I forgot how to say his name. And rest in peace to Marquise. But Luke is still one of the original pioneers of the group still living. Now, Uncle Luke was kicking some facts, okay? Some actual factual, right? I'm going to share some of this with y'all because he is basically going to drop some gems on how Diddy got caught up in this situation to begin with. So let's just go ahead and play this right quick, y'all.
Other names. I don't want to call no other names on it because I don't want to be getting no viral moment on this bitch where they video my shit and have me on the shade room and everywhere other fucking room. Think about what I'm getting ready to say to you all. When you sign up to these major companies, these major corporations, and they make you a billionaire, and you're doing all kind of wild shit around them and all kind of wild shit with them, and they make you a billionaire, they feel like they made you. They feel like they made you. So when you go rogue and you get to the point where you go to talking that shit about suing them and acting like and talking all that wild shit about you this and you that and you suing them and they treating you some kind of way, and when you go rogue, them people coming.
Now let me pause this, right? Just so y'all got some clarity on this. This ball with Cassie started rolling when Diddy tried to sue Ciroc and DeLeon, the owner of I guess Ciroc, or I don't know if these are owners who own Ciroc or if they own how can I say it? I don't know if they own Ciroc or if they own the company who is over Ciroc, okay? That part I don't know. I'm not up in that world or that industry to know how that goes, right? But what started it was, like I said, a lot of people don't understand. Billionaires don't become billionaires by themselves, okay? It was people who put in work. It was people who was graceful enough to give you an opportunity to look out for you and help you to build your success, okay? I don't care what billionaire says, I did it all by myself. I made this all happen alone. You got help from somewhere. Somebody took a chance on you. Somebody invested in you. And the worst thing you can do is when you have figured you've reached your level of greatness, now you think you can spit on the people who helped you to get there. That's what Luke is saying. You got to realize Luke is part of the industry, and he knows that when you try to challenge the top dogs, the dogs that built you and created you, you open a can of worms and you become a liability. Now the funny part is, the very thing that they doing to Diddy has done that to anybody he has ever made successful. All his artists, all of these people who he brought on board that helped them to get to where they are. He did the same thing. As soon as he felt like Biggie was going to leave him, Tupac was causing too much, tension to the point to where he felt like it was going to mess up his money, he exterminated them. Anything that's a threat, anything that became a problem to Diddy, he exterminated them. Well, isn't it ironic that when Diddy started becoming a problem to Ciroc by telling these Clorox top tier community, hey, I don't appreciate how y'all are not advertising my products like y'all doing the white man or the white woman. These white folks, y'all representing their brand. Y'all elevating their brand. And because I'm a black man, you not elevating my brand. The worst thing you could do is criticize a company and use the race card as a way to gain leverage and to have your way. That's what Diddy did. He got beside himself and he challenged the white man, which was top dogs in the industry that had a lot of pull. He thought he became bigger than the people who actually built him. But I'll let Uncle Luke keep on schooling y'all.
Them people coming now, cause they feel like they made you. They still buying and purchasing niggas. Oh, they gonna cut me off.
Fair use, fair use.
Think about all these black dudes who went rogue, who start talking about these big time billion-dollar corporations, stock market. When you affect a person's stock, when you fuck with their stock, and they made you a billionaire, they made you. They look at you and say, nigga, you ain't sold that many records to make you a billionaire. You ain't sold that many things to make you a billionaire. We partnered up with you using your name and likeness and your brand, and you made millions. We made you a billionaire. And when you go to talking that wild shit, when you go to talking that wild shit, hey, happy birthday. They will break you.
In other words, don't go against the machine.
I'm telling y'all some good shit. Think about the guys who done got on this app and talk about these people and their nationality. And talk about the other guys who were in the room that they made billionaires, and now you out the room and you want to talk shit about the dudes that's in the room and the people who made all these people. I'll give you some good information.
Fair use.
See, you have a choice to go up in that room to sell your soul to the devil. I never took that choice. I never made that choice, people. I never even took that.
Isn't it funny how big devils are quick to sponsor the little devils?
I have had opportunities to go up in that room and sell my soul to the devil for the dollar. I just can't live with myself. I'll be all right like this in the fucking garage looking for clean out the garage on junk day tomorrow. I'm okay. Versus selling your soul, yeah, they're gonna give you the millions. They're gonna give you the billion. But when you fucking start thinking it's really about you, they will humble your ass so fast it'll make your head spin.
Uncle Luke is not lying. Again, Diddy, he got too big for his britches. And when he challenged them white folks, that's when the pits of hell, the gateways to hell, started opening up for him. Like, no lie. Facts.
Think about it. Think about the guys right now who are going through the shit right now, who was way up here. But they can't even fucking, they chopped them down so bad. And they fucking went out to these major corporations who put billions in their pocket and they thought it was about them. Those people are going to come after you and they're going to take you down. And they are more deep into politics than you may think about it.
Them heavy hitters have a lot of connections, okay? You never want to challenge the heavy hitters, y'all. Like, for real, for real.
These people own senators. They own congressmen. They own these motherfuckers. They own judges. They own congressmen and senators who get judges nominated, who get federal judges nominated. So you see, a lot of us don't know how the game is really played. You talk about multi-billion-dollar corporations that put millions of dollars into political campaigns so that they could get you. All it takes is one senator. All it takes is one senator. You fuck around with one major corporation, and that major corporation. I'm gonna put y'all up on some game because I have y'all to know how this shit work. And that's why when I be talking, hey, look, if half of these brothers consult with me before they go to acting crazy, they could save millions and millions of dollars. And I might need to open up me a fucking consulting firm called Save a Hole. Captain Saberho.
Basically, you know, because I'm not going to play this whole thing out. But like Uncle Luke was saying, man, you got to be careful how you challenge the big dogs. Even if the big dogs, they give you a plate at their table, it does not give you the right, if they serve you a certain dish and it's a dish that you don't like, now all of a sudden you done got too bougie to eat the plate that they serve you, because you done become too comfortable at that table. You don't become so comfortable now. When you was hungry, you was all right with whatever they served you. You were just glad to even be invited to the damn table in the first place. You feel me? You was you was just thrilled and appreciative off the strength of the invite. But now that you are no longer a guest, and they have basically, you know, gave you a position as a team player, now you too good because you're making money with the team who took a gamble on you, took a chance on you. Now all of a sudden you done got bougie. You too good for the lobsters now and the shrimps. You was glad just to get a sandwich. Now because you have become so successful, you want caviar. It's the audacity. Bottom line was Diddy's arrogance had got the best of him, y'all. It's people in high places, you know. You don't know who. You don't know who has bonds and ties, you know what I'm saying, with people in high places. And Diddy got so bigoted within himself, he forgot where the hell he came from. And the fact that he was able to get away with for so much for so long. Let me see what other stuff, y'all. I know it's a lot. This is going to be a long-ass content. I'm going to tell y'all because it's just too much that I done folded up into this, right? But also, there's a video going around too showing Diddy's arrest that I'm also going to show y'all briefly. And this is the footage, y'all, in which, of course, from TMZ, yours truly, in which they actually have the footage of Diddy getting arrested and approached by the FBI, the feds, as he was exiting the hotel. So, we're just going to blow up the screen just a little bit. So, okay, I guess I can't stretch it out any bigger than what it is, so we'll just work with it this size. Video has no sound. That's Diddy right there, and that's the feds who basically start walking him out. Again, this is the feds. You can tell Diddy has cuffs on. His hands are behind his back. He's being escorted out of the hotel. Of course, it's a large hotel, so they're going through another entrance, another exit. So you can see reality is definitely, this is a culture shock for him. He was not prepared. He did not expect that arrest. All right, so I'm going to stop it right. Okay, there's more? Okay, wait a minute. All right, I guess this is the... Okay, now they're coming out the main entrance. Okay. All right, so I'm going to leave that there. Okay. So, as y'all can see, this is really real. The state, the feds, the liability of the witnesses... not to mention all of the other people who participated in the festivities with Diddy. It's too much at stake right now for Diddy to be out in the open and still have access to the public. It's too risky. These charges are too severe to take any chances. There's no room for error. And the feds know this. This is the reason why they're coming in strong. They could not prepare him. You cannot prepare the devil, okay? It's just too much at stake. Too many witnesses, too many lives, too much evidence that has yet to be produced. It's just way too risky. Diddy is a high risk factor. This man still has access to money. He still has access to goons. And this had to be done. So while everybody's around here talking about y'all trying to take the black man down, what about Epstein? What about these other white people? Guess what? They got taken down too. So the race card, y'all can miss me with that. But basically, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down because this video I know is already going to be over an hour and 30 minutes. I had to break up a lot of parts. I kept getting interrupted like crazy. So I'm most likely going to do a Diddy's Downfall from Grace Part 3. But I just want to at least share this with you about the process of him being incarcerated, his mental state of mind, and basically the type of treatment Diddy can expect as an inmate, as a prisoner. We're going to go more into talking about how it's going to affect and impact his children. I definitely want to get on board with that because, again, everybody's so fixated on the case, but at the same time, it's a lot of people that are going to get hurt behind this. His children, the mothers of his children, the ones that are still living. So we got a whole lot to touch upon. So I don't want to flood your brain and overpack your brain with any more information. So we're just going to shut it down from here. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Again, I'm going to post this on both channels. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to post all of the Diddy's Downfall Mocha docuseries on both channels so I can kind of make sure that all of my subscribers on both channels are keeping up. So please, if you can, hit that like button. Also, by the way, I am collecting proceeds to get a better microphone. Anybody who wants to donate, if I could at least get $5 from 40 subscribers, that will get me to my goal. I'm trying to get a mic for $200. I'm not trying to be too big time and get one for no $1,000, $2,000. So I have $15 so far. Let me also give a shout out to the individuals that gave me my donations before I shut it down, y'all, because that's only right that I do that. So let me put that up there. Okay, so I'm just going to say their first name. I'm not going to say their last name because some people may be very particular about their information. Shout out to Kanisha B for the $10 donation.